welcome to Clippers TV. I'm your host, Tally Campbell. Today we're filming at the 106.9 The Wolf Studios. On today's edition of Clippers TV, we'll look back at the Friday's game when the Clippers took on the Cowichan Valley Capitals. We'll be talking to Dan Marshall, the voice of the Nanaimo Clippers, learning about how he got started play-by-play announcing. But first, we spoke to Graham Calder, who is the chair of the Western Canada Cup, to learn more about the Cup. Take a look.
I am the chair of the host organizing committee for the Western Canada Cup.
So what is the Western Canada Cup?
The Western Canada Cup is going to be the, obviously the Western Canadian Junior A Championship. It's going to draw the 4 provincial champions from Western Canada, plus the host team, the Nanaimo Clippers. And from this tournament, the top 2 teams will go on to represent Western Canada in the Royal Bank Cup, the National Junior A Championship.
So when is this happening?
It starts on April 26th. The last game will be May 5th of 2013. So it will be the culmination of Junior A hockey in Western Canada next year.
So how will it work? Is it just a bracket, like a playoff schedule type thing?
No, we actually, one of our colleagues designed a very unique playoff format. We call it the Anderson format. And it's very similar to a page playoff format that you may be familiar with from curling. So in our playoff format, the top 4 teams will be ranked based on their wins and losses, and Team 1 and Team 2 will play off initially, and that will in fact be the championship game. The winner of that game will win the championship and be the first representative to the RBC. Then the 3 and 4 team will play off in the first semifinal. The loser of that game goes home, and the winner of that game goes on to play the loser of the 1-2 team for the runner-up position and the second berth in the RBC from Western Canada.
So what does it mean for Nanaimo to be hosting the inaugural one?
Well, certainly it's an opportunity for the citizens of the Mid-Island, the hockey fans of the Mid-Island area to witness some phenomenal hockey. It's, as they say, it's going to be the top Junior A hockey players in Western Canada, the top teams. So from a fan perspective, that means a great deal. From the city, certainly the significant economic impact. We'll be drawing a lot of fans, of course, parents, NCAA, NHL, CIS scouts will be coming here. They'll be staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants, taking our cabs, renting cars. So as I say, it'll be a significant economic impact. The history of tournaments such as this, the RBC itself, we have evidence of the economic impact it will have in the city. And further from that, on an ongoing basis, I think it's a great opportunity to expose and highlight and show off the city and area to the visitors that do come in hopes that they'll come back.
And lastly, how can people get information about the Western Canada Cup?
Certainly you can phone the office, you can go online, both to the Clipper website and to the BCHL website. Shortly there will be a dedicated WCC website, and as I say, calling here at the office, speak with myself or Jen Kennedy, and there will be a newsletter that will be coming out periodically as well. If you want to get on our newsletter distribution list, please give us a call and you'll get on that.
Thank you, Graham, and that is going to be a very exciting tournament, the inaugural one coming to Nanaimo this spring. On September 21st, the Nanaimo Clippers were taking on the Cowichan Valley Capitals at the Island Savings Center. And you guessed it, it was a rough one in a hostile arena. In the first period, Nanaimo's Greg Fraser gets the lone goal. It was a quick one behind the net, and it was 1-0 Clippers. In the second period, the Caps were able to get on the board by a quick shot by Ryan Haynes from Travers Stevens and Teal Burns. However, not long after a power play goal, Haynes gets a rebound to make it 2-0 Caps. But within 1 minute, Nanaimo's Josh Bryan gets on the board, and it was able to be a tied 2-2 hockey game after the second. In the third period, Cowichan's Ryan Haynes able to capture his hat-trick goal at 7:32. Teal Burns assisted in all 3 of the goals. Not long after, Clippers captain Trevor Fitzgerald was able to get a rebound and to tie the game up 3-3. And with less than 1 minute to go, Clippers make it 4-3. As you can see in the video, Captain Trevor Fitzgerald scores. However, the referees give the credit to Colton Dolan. The Clippers take that game 4-3 and make that their 3rd win in a row. Then I was back home on September 28th, and they take on the very hot Victoria Grizzlies. During the first intermission during that game, it is the Big Brothers Big Sisters Toonie Toss. Make sure you bring your toonies and have a chance to win several prizes on the ice, all supporting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central Vancouver Island. And the Country Club Centre standings follows. Victoria is in first with 11 points. Powder behind them with 8. The Port Alberni Valley Bulldogs with 7. Nanaimo with 6. And Cowichan in the back of the island standings with only 3 points. Do remember, every other team in the island division has played 7 games, while the Clippers have only played 4. Clipper fan or not, you know the voice. It's Dan Marshall, the voice of your Nanaimo Clippers. Although he may not just be the voice of Nanaimo Clippers, he is the morning news guy in the Wolf. He hosts Off the Ice on Mondays on 106.9 The Wolf, and he hosts Game On Shaw TV. But do you really know Dan? I got to sit down with Dan for a one-on-one exclusive interview. You gotta check this one out. Dan, what is Off the Ice?
Off the Ice it's the Clippers hockey show in a nutshell. We do an hour of hockey talk every Monday. We try and get an update from the coaching staff, usually Mike Vandekamp or Michael Olsen if the head coach isn't available. 2 players, we learn about their personal lives, about their hockey lives, and then we look around the BCHL, Clipper opponents, news of the day. Sometimes we'll talk marketing and off the ice things that go on with the team, but it's just an hour of Clippers hockey talk.
So you're probably the person who knows most about the Clippers. Is this a good team?
So far it is. 3 consecutive wins, strong defense, the team is very physical, and they're scoring by committee right now. They show a lot of character. They've come from behind in 2 third-period games to win, and that's a really good sign in the early season. It's only 4 games. A lot of other teams around the league have played 7, so we don't know for sure if this team has the staying power yet. We're going to find out very soon. October, a very busy month, but all the early signs are good ones.
So this Friday, they got Bill Best to return to Frank Arena. What kind of game is this?
Well, the coaches on both sides will say, it's just another game, it's 1 of 56, but come on, it's so exciting. Former Clippers, Jerry, Leo, and Miles Fitzgerald, Brett Hartskamp, Bill Bestwick back for the first time, all those great years with the Clippers. That's exciting. And then on the other side, you've got what I just mentioned, a Clipper team that's hot. They've won 3 in a row. They're playing great hockey. The Grizzlies are the #1 team in the BCHL heading into the matchup. I think it's a clash of the Titans. It's 2 coaches that are highly, highly competitive. It's 2 teams that so far this year have shown to be highly competitive. I think it's a great night, and I think the fans want to see not only what the Clippers are about, but what this Victoria team's all about. There's fans that want to boo Bill Bestwick. There's fans that want to cheer Bill Bestwick. And anytime you have a polarizing figure on the other side, it makes for a great night of entertainment and maybe a good building block after the home opener, which was so fun.
So we all know you as the voice of the Nanaimo Clippers. Let's talk about you, though. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Coquitlam, so not that far from here. Born and raised, went to Centennial High School, which is the big high school, about 2,000 people when I went back in 1992, so I've graduated a long time ago, and got my start in play-by-play over there, actually calling games into a little tape recorder.
And so did you call any of the high school games by a chance?
Nothing at the high school, but the local rink was literally across the street from the high school. So I would go over there, and this was after high school was over, and I'd do the PA for the minor hockey games. Sometimes I'd take my tape recorder and do play-by-play for minor hockey games, and that led to lacrosse and then doing higher levels of hockey, and things kind of snowballed there from a play-by-play standpoint for me.
So when did you get your first actual play-by-play job?
First job was in Penticton in the year 2000. I was fresh out of radio broadcasting school, and about 3 weeks before the season, their play-by-play guy got a better job, and he left, and they were desperate. So fortunately for me, I had a little homemade demo on an old cassette reel, and the head coach was desperate, and I came really cheap. So it was a good marriage and lasted there for 7 enjoyable years with the Penticton Panthers first, and then the Penticton Bees later on.
And so lastly, what is your dream as a play-by-play announcer? Would you like to announce an NHL game?
Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't? It's the ultimate, right? And that's where you start. I remember when it was 1982, long before any of the players on the current Clippers were born, I was listening to Jim Robson, the Canucks play-by-play announcer. The Canucks were going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and I wanted to play. I wanted to be a goalie, but I'm not very good, so that wasn't ever going to be an option. But I thought, wow, the next best thing would be to call the games, and to call the games for the Canucks or for the NHL or one of these Stanley Cup games that kind of got me into it way back in 1982. So it started then. I'm still going now, enjoying every minute of it, and I think as an announcer you just want to announce the best game that you could possibly ever get to, and whether that's the Clippers winning a championship or one day an NHL game, either way the highest I can go is the highest I want to.
What a great guy, and yes, you can hear him every home and away game on 106.9 The Wolf, every Clipper game that is, and also Monday nights on Off the Ice, 7 to 8 p.m. That's all. That is all for this edition of Clippers TV. I'm your host, Tally Campbell. Have yourself a great night. See you next week.